you are. Um, Maybe it's just about time that we focus on state development. I mean, I think we speak on it, but we do not focus as much as we can on state development. And so the program, the state, allows us do just that. And how this works is we'll have two people from different states in the studio. Yes, and it's randomly chosen, but I think I would be fair in my own assumption, trying to quantify state development, a power parity of a sort, and maybe pair those in the same weight class, against those with whom they pretty much share maybe similarity to any degree. All right. So you come into the studio, you speak about the good part, and then during cross-examination, each representative will go at the other state, discussing what's good, discussing what's bad about the state. And then after that, we'll discuss what the state must do in order to better its developmental chances for an upward economic swing. And if you'd love to be a part of it, I'll love your indication either on Twitter or on Instagram. On Twitter, Joyce Onyemua on Twitter, and on Instagram, Joyce Onyemua on Instagram. It would be a brilliant way to discuss, interrogate state development, and I'd love for you to do just that with me on the show on the sunny side. This afternoon, the pleasure is mine to have once again Commodore Kunle Olawunmi, a security expert. He's been on the show before. You have enjoyed both his opinion, point of view, his perspective, and of course, maybe looking back at what he has done for this country. You honor his labor and his commitment to social security. And today, the sun rises on this possibility to have him back on the show. Sir, my pleasure having you here. Thank you very much for honoring me.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're welcome.
And a happy new year to you. I haven't seen you this year.
Yeah, happy new year. It's very nice to see you again.
Really, really nice to see you here. So we're back here to discuss what may be at this moment in our national history exhausting for you, a conversation to have. Personally, I think talking about situations, we keep hoping that it gets better. Now, there is no fact to this assumption that things are better. Well, there isn't any fact to the statement that things are better. So I want to ask you, as someone who has served this nation, what your take is on the current on the current security issue first, and then I would love your opinion on how the insecurity in Nigeria affects the economy. Please go ahead.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be on your program all the time. I respect your program, and that's why I'm actually coming on. The country, as it were, has not changed much since Buhari time. And it's understandable because I said that whoever is coming to repair the damage caused by Buhari has a lot of work to do. So it's a little bit early to look at what Tinubu is doing and try to evaluate it. The review is a little bit early. But however, the box ends on the table of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. There's no excuse. I know that Tinubu has his job well spelled out before he came to apparently to rescue the country from the damage that was done in 8 years plus the other 8 years. So I think he should have known that the first thing he needs to fight is security. And I'm aware that Tinubu has a lot of reserve that's helped him to structure the security architecture before he came on board. So I'm still watching him, but I don't know if he's making use of those elements. I know some of the strategic teams that try to ensure that it will be easy for him to focus on this security issue once he hit the ground running. I'm not too sure that the approach that Tinubu is applying today has changed very much from what Buhari did. why they're making the same mistakes is what I don't understand. I can only attribute the political environment in Nigeria that is so intertwined, and it's like governance in Nigeria is just a continuum. The same set of people, maybe it's different color, but the same set of people. Otherwise, I don't want to look for excuse for Tinubu for not being able to do what I expected him to do. Focus on those guys that are sponsoring these narratives, and take them out. If you like, you can buy all the weapons you want and recruit 10,000 troops every day. It's not going to stop it. So it has always been the approach. We use the same approach. Maybe it's because of corruption, because when you say you're buying weapons and recruiting people, you can always account for the money somehow. I think people just use this to steal money. And they must have been advising him wrongly as well, because the approach has been the same for the past 6 months I've been watching. Kinetic approach, bombing, shooting. I have not seen a change. I have not seen a change in the rule of law, the application of law. I have not seen people that has been tried, sentenced, and punished correspondingly. Even if you kill people, there used to be those kind of rule of law those days. I've not seen. And I've not seen any of the sponsors that were arrested during Buhari's time that we know. I've not seen them being taken out. I don't know whether somebody wants to pretend that he doesn't know, because I know he knows. So if you know them and they are still in the corridors and you claim to be fighting insurgency, why the sponsors are still roaming the street? It's a travesty, because I'm very careful not to start throwing blames. But I think it's enough time for him to have arrested some of those people, take them out, and give peace a chance in this country.
Okay, so sometimes I think that we on this side of the Nigerian map are removed from what appears to be the terror that's in the wind. And every time, even as a journalist, that I have to report on insecurity, I wonder how much of this is being told exactly as it should be told. So if you would allow me a few minutes, I would need your patience. I want to run by your hearing what was a random internet pull-up of kidnappings and killings that may have occurred in December alone, which is 10 months of this administration. December 1st, gunman kidnapped priest, one other in Imo State. December 6th, parents whose children were kidnapped along the Zamfara Highway. On August 17th, 2023, traveling to Sokoto State Orientation Camp for the NYSC, appeal to the federal government and Akwa Ibom State government to assist in rescuing their children. December 12th, 1 killed, 12 kidnapped in Abuja. December 17th, Anambra State Police Command rescues 4 children. Okay. December 17th, the troops successfully rescue 13 kidnapped victims and arrested 11 suspected terrorist logistics supplies to a notorious terrorist kingpin in Zamfara State. December 17th, 87 Chibok girls still in Boko Haram captivity. December 18th, Abuja musician band members reportedly kidnapped while returning from an event on the 18th of December. December 25th, armed forces have killed at least, armed groups killed a little over, 160 actually is reported. They kind of dwindle here and there, but Voice of America reports it to be 160 people, central Nigeria. That's what happened in Jos. We also heard 25th morning, gunmen kill 8 in fresh Plateau attacks. December 31st, Sahara Reporters reports fresh attacks in Nigeria's Plateau community, killing 3. Now, this is just a random pull-up in 1 month. We can't absorb this administration of what appears to be the burden of duty to face insecurity head on. Now, if this isn't happening and people are being kidnapped, and people are still dying. Now, this is just for December. I haven't even run by your hearing what has happened in January, which we're going to go on into in a moment, because in January, we are hearing of crowdfunding for people kidnapped. So are we in a state of emergency?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. I've been in this situation before, and the theories are very, very simple. You see, to fight insurgency, counterterrorism, there are theories. And I don't like to be a little bit talking down on people that are governing us. I think just a lot of maybe it's illiteracy, because there are theories that governs some of these things, and they are doable. Usually, it's always logistics and finance that hinders people, but Nigeria doesn't have that problem. It's just a lack of common sense. A policeman or another citizen will tell you that when you have a crime like this, there's a simple logic. They say, follow the money. It's as simple as that. You are doing crowdfunding, they are collecting 20 million, 100 million. Why can't you follow the money? How is it difficult? Is that 100 million going to be spent in Saudi Arabia?
Oh, no, this is the worst part. So we hear that there is a former minister who told his friend about the current kidnapping that happened in Abuja, and his friend donated 50 million to pay as ransom. No, this is unbelievable. Like, of all the horror stories that are conceivable, this has got to be one inconceivable, where a former minister is moved enough to get his friend to pay 50 million naira to bandits. That's where we are. Are we in a state of emergency? And is the government not taking this as seriously as it should?
Yeah, I think that's just that's the answer. I think the government is not serious enough. It's about political will. It's not about because when you look at counterterrorism, there are 4 steps. And I tell people the most important step and the first step is to prevent it. Prevention. Now, if that's not working well, then you actually go to protection. You protect the citizen, maybe getting more police and so on. Then if you get a leeway, you go to pursue. And the last one is respond. In Nigeria, I want to say that we always pursue and respond. We do not consider the prevention. If somebody is donating 50 million, why can't you mark that 50 million? What is the difficulty in marking that money? When it is spent, let's say even 3 months later, it can be traced. Follow the money. So it's either there's no political will, or I think we have a lot of people in positions that are just, they are lethargic. I think they are just lazy. If you give 50 million and you mark the money, it's a matter of time that money is going back into the circulation. Just follow the money. It's a simple principle. But they know already who are these people. They know them. So we can speak grammar, I can profile solutions, but if the government today is also showing that it's not willing to fight terrorism and insurgency, then it's going to really give me a depression, because I know the effort that was made, prior to all this stability in the government, to ensure that the first thing that will be fought is this charade. I call it charade because it's the people in government, in CBN, in foreign affairs, some in the military, some in politics, that are orchestrating these things. And I've told them 2-3 years back, look for the people that are benefiting from insurgency. There's no doubt in my mind that people are benefiting from this. The Dubai government, Abu Dhabi, they have given us the list of these people that are paying dollars, buying arms for insurgents. The government of Buhari also told us they caught some 400 people. Joyce, where are those people? Why are they not tried by the past government? the past government shows unwillingness to try them, why is it taking Tinubu this long? I would just want to know why is it taking him this long? The Department of State Services leadership has remained intact, which I was monitoring, which I think is a strategy to ensure that all the relevant information are intact. Tinubu cannot tell me today that he has not been briefed by the relevant agencies, especially the Department of State Services, about those people that has been causing carnage, chaos, injustice. He must have been briefed. So, Joyce, the problem in Nigeria is lack of political will.
Well, one may be forced to differ because I don't know if it's a lack of political will or if this is corruption. Now, I really don't want to swing you too low as to revealing details, but the news reports that bandits, take over a territory and impose taxes on residents. For that to happen, I think the state must be aware. So, what do you think about the possibility that because the government knows these people, they tend to maybe turn the other way and allow some of these social ills continue? And how much of this is maybe the government also permits it, like deliberately permits it? Because how do bandits impose taxes on citizens, free citizens?
Yeah, definitely the government is aware of what is going on. That's not debatable. And if the president, commander-in-chief, is serious about doing this, you declare a state of emergency. No governor wants to hear that the president, commander-in-chief is making propositions to declare his state as emergency state. No governor wants that. Because when he does, he has lost control of that state. And it's almost like, demotion or relegation. Then you have to activate the processes. So why can't the president, commander-in-chief declare a state of emergency in Niger State? Why is the governor still there? What's he sitting down there doing? He's supposed to be the chief security officer of the state. And bandits have captured some part of your state. They are raising flags. And you are the chief security officer, and every month you collect security votes, and you are still swinging your agbada without shame. It should be removed from there, and the state of emergency should be declared. So if you're asking whether I win a state of emergency, it's only the president, commander-in-chief that can declare state of emergency if you look at the constitution. But that is not the issue. There's no political will to actually put those governors where they belong, because they are part of everything you see there. They know about it, but they just don't care about the plight of the people that voted them into power. They see them just like animals. They know about it. Some of those people, they eat with them, and they come to their houses in the night and eat and collect money. I don't want to go to a point where I will start mentioning some critical things here. But if you want to combat what is going on, there are also 3 steps. But what I discover in these steps is that Nigeria is always looking at the very unimportant steps. For instance, if you want to counter terrorism, for instance, there are about 3 policies. The first one is awareness. Awareness. And we know that the government, both at federal level and at state level, they are aware. They are aware. So that is the most important step. The second step is capabilities. Now, if you look at Nigerian state, we don't like the capacity or the capability to fight insurgency. The number 3 one is engagement. How do you go about engaging them? There's a shortfall from that aspect, because I've watched the engagement of terrorists in the past 10, 15, 20 years, and it has remained the same pattern.
Okay, sir, pardon me, I hate to interrupt your thinking. I'm off on a break in about a few minutes from now. When I come back, I want to refer to something retired Colonel Hassan said about the last administration. The last time you were here, you also spoke about what needed to be done. Now, given that what needs to be done is not being done, what are we left with? So that's where we're going to begin when we return from the break. Lagos, well, from the break, we'll be right back. Nigeria Info, the sunny side. We have with us our guest, Commodore Kunle Olawunmi. When we return, he continues. Sir, thank you very much for giving me your time. But just before I allow you to start speaking, I want to share with you and, of course, the listening audience a conversation by Hassan, Mr. Hassan, a retired colonel. And I would love for you to speak on his position, because he gave a view, he gave his view on the last administration and their quote-unquote inability to tackle insecurity. He was on Arise Television. And Lagos, if you would, here's Colonel Hassan.
I would say I agree with the opinion that General Buhari in the last 8 years or thereabout did virtually nothing, and I mean virtually nothing, in our fight against terrorism. If anything, he promoted and enhanced our hardship as far as the fight against terrorism was concerned. It's unfortunate that we're talking about our number one citizen as at then, within the period of the last 8 years, a period which I refer to that Nigeria had no political leader. We saw all the lines of actions taken by the, political strategic level of decision making. We saw all the lines of action taken even from the presidency. We saw how ministers who had business or things to do with terrorists were made to remain in their positions as ministers. One was even in charge of our entire national data. We could go on and on and on. We allowed undue sentiments right from the presidency to be visited in our alleged purported plan or action against terrorism. You could read religion, you could read tribalism, you could read ethnicity, and so on. It's unfortunate. And at the subnational level, we had governors, especially up north where I come from, under that administration, that had all sorts of romance and unholy relationship with terrorism, degenerating to a situation where some of them were talking of amnesty. It was shocking to some of us. Amnesty for who? You tell me they are repentant terrorists. Repentant from what? We are soldiers. Our duty is not to come here and grant repentance. Our duty is to hasten your appointment with God to heaven or hell, where He will grant you penance. So, for us to be bringing large number of men from the forest who hitherto were armed and taking on fellow Nigerians, then on the appearance of soldiers, they drop their weapon and you are compelled as a professional to take them PWs and you bring them back to us and say they are repentant what?
Sir, thank you very much once again for your time. So, a quick summary. He does say that ministers who had been fingered with this whole allegation of terrorism remained ministers. He said one even in charge of our national data. He said he could, as a colonel, he saw religion play out, ethnicity play out. He said there were even some governors who had a romance with terrorism. You are a Commodore. He is a colonel. Between the both of you lies some truth to this terror that stares us blank in the eye. I don't know what we have as recourse as a people, civilians, unarmed. Is there something you can tell us, and is there something that people must do? Is there an understanding we need to come to? Is there some accepting of fate that we are left to accept? Is there redemption? Is there salvation for Nigerians?
Yeah, thank you very much. Colonel Stanlambo is a colleague, and I always like his submissions. But I think the challenge I normally have is that I look at the remote causes of problems. Because the immediate causes, sometimes you can easily assuage them one by one. They become very complex, But the remote cause of what Buhari did, I really don't want to talk about Buhari anymore. He has done his worst and is gone, okay? But the remote causes of those things is that, I'm not shy to say that some of these guys are not Nigerians. I'm not talking about the terrorists or the whatever. Some of our leaders in the past are not actually Nigerians. Because you cannot be a Nigerian and have the opportunity to govern this space, and all you did was to destroy everything. What came with a vengeance? He came with an agenda. And he has done his worst. Let him go. Now we have Tinubu there. What is it doing to ameliorate some of these concerns that you have actually projected? Look at the interest rate. Look at the economic situation. Look at inflation. Look at the exchange rates. I think we should just forget that Buhari ever existed. Because when we are going to write the history, we are going to be putting him in the class of all this Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, and all those worst characters that have space on this. So don't let us waste time on Buhari.
Okay.
But right now, the people of Nigeria are suffering because of his antecedents. What Stanabo said is pure justice. He is correct. Yeah, nepotism, religion, and all those stuff. These people came from other places, and maybe they came with a vengeance to destroy this country out of envy. That's the way I look at it, because you cannot be a Nigerian and shipping people from Sudan, from Sahel, to come and start killing people, burying them, and because we know that they were doing that. It's a fact. They want to dispute. They should bring it on. They were the one doing all these things. So if you are a Nigerian, you cannot do that to your country, except you are not from that part of the world. And it's still happening. They are recruiting people now into the police, into the army that are coming from Niger, Mali, and all those stuff, and they are just claiming they are from Lagos State and all those stuff.
That's my next question. One day, pardon me. That's my next question. This recruitment of repentant, bandits into the police force in Kanu. What in the name of the Nigerian spirit justifies this? And do we indeed say that these are repentant people, and so one way to incorporate them into society would be to forgive them, give them uniforms and access to arms? What's your position on how this may be beneficial, if it is at all beneficial?
No, I think something is going on somewhere. Because this is how we got to where we are now, and it's still going on. It's a strategic plan by some people to impose their own tribe, maybe from Futajalon Island, from Mali, from Sudan, from northern Cameroon, from Chad, to impose their people to govern this space. Because I've thought about this over the years, and I cannot explain why in Nigeria will be doing what you just mentioned. I watched the video, I watched the comments. Two things must happen, must be going on. It's either the governor of that state, because maybe he's trying to copy the Hisbah, the Amotekun, or whatever. I think maybe he misconstrued the concept of DDR, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, which is supposed to be like an EU, UN concepts, of trying to look, how do we look at the issue of peacemaking and peace enforcement, Either he misconstrued the whole concept because he's an illiterate, or he's doing it deliberately to appease those their boys that they use to cause carnage in those areas. And when you put them in, well, you can call it constabulary, whatever you name it, but they are wearing police uniform. Once we forget in another 6 months, 9 months, they'll be integrated into the police. And one day, one of those boys are going to be your Inspector General of Police. Give it maybe another 40 years, or even less than maybe 30 years or 20 years. Those boys you are seeing will later become your Inspector General of Police in this country. And he will be from Sudan, or he's from Mali, or he's from Chad. This has been happening. Nigeria is a place where we condone iniquities and we just smile over it. As I mentioned, most people that have destroyed this country are not from here. It's a very strong allegation I'm making. You cannot be a father in a home. You have 5 children, and you will allow armed robbers to come into your house, rape your wife, kill your children because of religion, because of nepotism. You cannot do that. You cannot, as a father, allow armed robbers to come and rape your wife in your house. It only means you are not the father. You cannot be a president, commander-in-chief, and allow foreigners to come into your country. You sponsor them, and they are killing and raping people, and you say you are the president of that country. It means you are not from that country.
So, sir,
and this is a very strong allegation.
Okay, sir.
So, what they are doing in Kano, I'm sorry about recruiting all these people. Who is going to pay their salary? Is it the defense budget? The defense budget is going to use to pay their salary, wearing police uniforms, say they are constabularies? I mean, this shows the gap between the North and the South. This just shows the kind of impunity they think they can conduct. How can you gather criminals? It's like me now. Sorry to take your time.
Please,
Some would they will go to Isaleko, Idugoro, go and carry all those area boys. Give them a bath and wear police uniform for them. And say because he wants to, he's doing the demobilization reintegration. Is that the meaning of reintegration? That's why I say maybe it's about illiteracy. You know, some of these people really don't go to school. The concept of the UN program is after the hostilities has ended. Now you are now trying to demobilize those people that are still having arms, and you are trying to reintegrate them by either sending them to schools where they can learn handwork, artisanship, or you build factories and employ them, or you build farms. In the North, there is a lot of land. Build farms and let them, cultivate the land and produce food. You cannot wear uniform for them and say you are giving them employment. This is, for me, it just shows the level of illiteracy in some of this. Why can't you send them to farm and let them cultivate onions, tomatoes, and so on? Why are you wearing uniform for them and paying them salary? How much salary is that governor going to pay these criminals that will be enough for them to live? People that have been collecting 100 million, 50 million for ransom, for kidnapping, now you now wear uniform for them, and you're going to pay them 30,000 naira a month. One, they will not stay. Two, you have just helped the remaining criminals to have insiders in the government to pass information to them. If they want to kidnap even that governor himself, it is those same people that he has put uniform on them that will be giving information to the people outside. Because the war is not over. You cannot conduct DDR. You cannot integrate people into the security system, and there are people are still fighting in the forest. So they be informants to them. This is how dull these people are. These people you are calling for stability are going to be the informants to the terrorists in the bush. You are supposed to send them to the farm, to factories where they can work. You don't put on uniform and give them arms. So that's why I say it's either they are so dull or they have an agenda. Because they are putting these people now in the security system, and it's a matter of time because we forget easily. In the next 10 years, you may not be doing this business again. Maybe I'll be dead. These people will still be in the system. They are like Iranians, the Persians. They can continue these projects, Joyce, for the next 1,000 years of turning this place to like a Taliban ground where there will be bloodbath, people will be using sword to cut people's head, and they will, for the next 1,000 years, they will continue.
The service chiefs.
Continue.
Yeah. The service chiefs appeared before House of Representatives last year, November 2023, and they listed their challenges. Now, they outlined, poor logistics or poor logistic provisions, insufficient patrol vehicles for police divisions, inadequate training, poor welfare for personnel. One of the issues they raised is the daily 1,500 naira feeding allocated to the military. Sir, is this an excuse, or are these really the issues besetting their capacity to tackle this issue that appears to be exploding in our faces?
Yeah, because, sorry to say, the way we look at challenges is usually not the way they are supposed to be tackled. I mean, we are discussing tactical issues now. That's the lower aspect of policy, strategic, and operation. I mean, you are giving somebody 1,005. I was a soldier. And if you give me even 200 naira, if you say that's what I'm entitled to, and it's I don't query it. It's not a problem for me. Soldiers don't work on their stomach. They don't query some of these things. That is not the problem. If you don't guide a soldier, soldiers obey orders. Give orders, they will do. They don't try to use their initiative as much as they're supposed to. Except you are at the strategic level. And even if you're at the strategic level, when you discuss with the politicians, that's time you know how hollow, how empty they are.
Wow.
They don't know how to conduct this operation. It's not paying them, you don't pay them enough, you didn't buy enough weapons, and so on. Tell me, how many are these insurgents? How many? If you gather all of them together today, what is their number? What is the kind of arms? And when you are fighting asymmetry that is backed up by hostile intelligence services, as is the case in Jos, I don't know whether we're going to get there, you will observe that everything has to do, and I want you to take note of this, with the domestic subversive organizations. The Nigerians are the one behind all this catastrophe. And as long as these Nigerians are, soldiers cannot do much. If the president did not give them the way they should go, because in intelligence circle, I've said it in some programs, the first and the most important aspect of intelligence circle is direction. We call it commander's intelligence requirement. It is very vital. If the commander-in-chief does not even know how to give his direction, I'm telling you, soldiers are like zombie. Fella said it. If you don't give me direction, if you say I should sleep, I will sleep. If you say I should jump, I will jump. But if you don't even know how to say jump, I may be hesitant. We need to get quality leadership. It's not about money, weapon. That's not what is hindering them. What is hindering them is that people in the position of power that were criminals in mind already. We get people that are criminals into the space of governance. So every action and every orders and direction they give is to enrich them further. That's it. Is to enrich them. Everything's about money. So if they say, soldiers should move to this place, they are thinking, okay, maybe they are asking them to move so that they can create space for the miner, the Chinese they will bring here to come and mine. They will have to create that space. So they will tell the soldiers to move to move towards Zamfara, where I should relocate to Borno. Meanwhile, they are mining the gold in Ilesha. Everything these civilians, everything they do is to acquire dirty money. So that's why I say when I discuss on TV or radio, people don't follow me very well because I look at the remote cause of problems. It's not about the money, the weapon, they don't have enough weapon, they are overwhelmed. That's not the problem.
All right.
Everything emanates remotely from the politicians that are stealing dirty money, mining resources, bringing foreigners to mine gold, uranium, platinum, tin, columbite. They are the one causing this problem. And as long as we keep on focusing on tactical measures, buy more weapons, buy more aircraft, buy this one, we will never solve the problem of insurgency in Nigeria.
Okay.
You have to go after the sponsors. The politicians have to be tried and sentenced.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to quickly go off on a break. When we come back, we'll talk about resources and the event that happened in Jos. Lagos will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're back. 99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side. We're radioactive and actively trying to attempt a solution mentally in hopes that we can attain an actual resolve physically on state level, on the national level, on the federal level. The situation in Nigeria really is just huge cause for concern. And when you read the news, hear the news reports, one wonders what exactly the government is doing about situations. Well, sometimes it's about what the government is not doing. Our guest this afternoon is Commodore Kunle Olawunmi. Such a pleasure having him here. But yes, now at this moment, sir, it would be good to take a look at Jos. I would love your idea, your knowledge as to what may have occurred and maybe the root cause of the problem. Between 23rd and Christmas in 2023, coordinated attacks were carried out by persons who survivors say Fulani herders. Now, apart from over 100 persons being killed in the affected communities, properties worth millions of naira is reported to have been destroyed and people displaced. Now, this is not the first time Plateau has been in the news for such level of tragedy. In fact, I've even lost count, to be honest. Now, one wonders whether there is latent in this bad reporting or this bad news an ethnic problem or religious problem. What is, in your view, the issue of Plateau State?
Joyce, this is an interesting topic. Will I surprise you if I say it's none of the above? It's not religious, it's not ethnic.
Okay.
Will you be surprised?
None
of the above.
I would be, because then the next question is, so what is it?
Yeah. It's about mineral resources. And people that, I don't know the kind of name I want to give them, that are ready to, lose their essence for a pot of porridge. I mean, sometimes I wonder whether they are really human beings. When I was at the Defense Intelligence College, we have a place in Jos where we go for exercise. I won't mention it. And we go around the mountains, the bushes, and so on. And you can almost be picking things. I mean, I'm talking about columbite things. You can pick them on the ground. There's columbite, there's niobium, there is tin, there's uranium, there's tantalite, there's wolfram, there's kaolin, there's zircon. These mineral resources are so, the white men are just pretending that they don't need them. Let me tell you, any rocket you see that is being fired by the United States, by Israel, by any of this world power, they are the materials are in Jos. Jet engines, oil rigs, radio transmitters. As you are talking to me, all those your transmitters, if you go and look at those equipment, they are made from materials that you can find in Jos. Aeroplane, electronics, defense processing, capacitors in your equipment are found in Jos. That is why people are being killed there. And Nigerians are the one working with the Oyibos, the white men, Chinese, Chon Chon, all those stupid colored people you see around. It is our own people that are working together with them to kill our people, drive them off that land, and be mining the resources. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. Most of these people that are coming to kill our people are not even Nigerians. So what is the ethnic issue there? They are not Nigerians. They import them, keep them in a bush somewhere. When they have to do an operation, they mobilize them. They kill Nigerians like them so that they can have space to mine minerals. And this is the only country I think I've seen, because even in Ghana, you can't do it, where, you just give people mining license, because somebody's a brother, you can give him a license, then he will go and start digging somewhere. And if the farmers complain, then you send your soldiers, which you call militants, or you call whatever name we call them, you just unleash your soldiers on them, drive them off that place, and you continue to mine. So you can ask as an enlightened person, what a country is this? Is this a country? I saw somebody on television, he was proud to be saying that he has a mining license, he's a miner. Can you do that in China? Can a Chinese man say he's a miner? He will be digging somewhere and be mining things and be bringing a plane from whatever to carry them away as a personal, it's like it's a personal business. This is not a country. That is the issue. That's why I talk about the remote causes of things. It's not religion, it's not ethnicity, all those ones, they are deception, because the first thing that you lose in war is the truth. That's the first thing that suffers. You'll be getting all this information. They are just deception. They are throwing those things out. Ethnic something. Birom killed this one. Fulani killed that one. No. At the base, are Nigerians, politicians, because I'm on air, I don't want to use languages, because I'm so irritated by them. How can you be killing people because you want to make money? Then you go to Dubai with your big stomach, then you go there, carry some small girls, and that's what to do with the money. That is blood money. It's not religion.
Okay.
And you can quote me as an authority. I've worked in those places. General Said, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, who was my brother, he has died. He died few months ago. He lives in Jos. I go there. We go hunting. There's so much mineral resources there. And our own politicians, our own people, some of them, of course, I said they are from other countries. They are here in government, and they're just destroying the country.
Sir, there's been a conversation about bearing arms. The last time you were here, you gave me a figure on soft arms, small arms on the streets of Nigeria. Once again, this issue of insecurity has forced back up the need to bear arms. Now, some people even disagree with the sensibility in that. They say, well, bearing arms could endanger society. Others say, in cases of insecurity, the Nigerian should be allowed to bear arms. Now, you are frustrated. I guess probably I'm not even able to quantify the frustration because of the repetitive nature of the situation around insecurity in Nigeria, where there's so much talk and not enough is done to curb, or at least to put faith in the people that the government is for them to defend them when and where necessary. What do you think about the bearing of arms? I mean, everything taken into consideration.
You'll be surprised at my answer. The answer is no.
Okay.
I've been attacked sometimes somewhere. I don't want to give details. And the person that attacked me, I could see it was a police marked weapon that was used on me. The weapon being used is those old submachine gun that the kill and go used to carry. Marked. Police rent weapon out. Is it new? You go and get all these criminals that you say they are thugs, and you give them uniform, they are going to rent it out. Now, if you allow Nigerians to carry arms, you will see in the long run that it is people that are not qualified to bear that arms that will be given arms. This, as I said, I'm not trying to be derogative of my country. I'm a proud Nigerian. But you can see the way people are just behaving. I say this is a banana republic. You will see that once you give that go ahead, it is the criminals themselves Because the politicians will get it en masse, register it in the name of their thugs, and they will give them weapons. And you that you are educated, you are supposed to get this, and they will make your life miserable. You will never get that license. But the governor or the senators will get like 1,000 and share it to his thugs. It's going to be, there will be anarchy.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So for me, the good governance will resolve some of these things. It may be a long haul.
Yeah.
But if there are good governance, you will not need to bear arms. Because if you proliferate the environment, already we have more than 6 million arms, small arms, in the system. If you now throw it open,
if you legalize,
the British, the Americans, they will come and destroy you. They will turn this country to DRC Congo.
Wow.
Because we don't have time on the air, I could have told you the impact of all these British, Americans, all these other countries that are making sure that we don't get it right.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm looking forward to having that conversation with you at a different time, because Nigerians have held that suspicion for the longest time. This is my final question to you. This administration, has been in power for just about a year, and the tragedy continues unabated. So, one would say, what is this government not doing? You have said that the government needs a little bit more time before they can be properly evaluated and scrutinized for their inability or lack thereof. This is January. By next month, this government or this administration would have been 1 year on that seat. What should they be doing as quickly as yesterday?
If Tinubu is listening to me, he should go to the DS and get the list of the sponsors of insurgency and try them for treason. What they have conducted, what they are doing to us, to you, is treasonable. And that's why Buhari refused to try them. Now it's his turn. History will not judge him right. If he does not arrest those people, the names are already there. They didn't deny them. They should try them for treason and give them the maximum punishment to serve as deterrence to the one that are still doing it now. As we are here now, they are still doing it. So if there's no rule of law, if there's no justice, there can't be peace. Joyce, there can't be peace. There are theoretical linkages between some of these things we are saying. You want peace, and there's no justice. There's no rule of law. We talk about drugs, we talk about people buying adulterated drugs, bringing from China. Nobody's punished. You arrest them, the judge will collect his own money, the police will collect their own, and everybody, life continues, and people are dying. So Tinubu should revisit that list. If he doesn't know, there's a list. And bring them out, try them properly. No kangaroo court. They should try them, because in the process, you know why they don't want to try them? In the process of trying them, you will get more information. Wow. You will get more information, and they don't want those information to come out. So you should try that, because the history that is judging Buhari is different.
All right. Has really been a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much once again for being on Nigeria Info and sharing with us your honest views on insecurity in Nigeria. I really do look forward to having you back again at a later time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you always.
Thank you.
I enjoy your program.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity with you. Lagos, Nigeria, we have been speaking with Commodore Kunle Olawunmi, and yes, now the telephone lines are open. The phone's been ringing the whole time. I know that all of you have questions, and as many questions as you have, I hope you come along with your answers on Nigeria Info 0700 993 993 993 and 01 465 71 90, the sunny side. My name's Joyce.
Okay, have a lovely day. Bye.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check